All right, welcome everyone to the Rink Rat Report Podcast, recording this one Wednesday, February 28th, a little bit earlier than usual. Thank God, as always, joined by Jason.
How's it going? Good win streak. I forgot to change my little headline here. Good win streak comes to an end. Have some thoughts about the past week, but excited to get into it.
So what's that, 2-1 with Morgan Riley back in the lineup, or is that 1-1?
I think it's 1-1.
5-game suspension, right? And we were on a 7-game win streak. So 2-1, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
2-1. All right. Anyways, he played like ass last night, so who cares? When an offensive defenseman creates zero offense, it's usually not a very good night. And he went -4. So we're going to talk about last night. We're going to talk about the Avalanche game. We're going to slip in the Coyotes game in there too, because I've got some numbers thoughts about the Coyotes game that I thought were very, very interesting. Because if you missed it and you just looked at the numbers, it was a very confusing game. But I want to explain that. I want to get deep into that. We had a little debate on Simon Benoit. I think last night, just like, I don't know, no right-handed defenseman in the lineup last night is insane. So we're going to get into that. What was the other part that you told me to say? You didn't.
The new lines.
And the new lines, are they actually optimal? Are the new lines actually optimal? Or are we just looking at, hey, the results, we're winning. Why wouldn't the new lines be good? We got a hat trick from Bobby McMahon. We got a hat trick from Tyler Bertuzzi. We got a hat trick from Austin Matthews. Why wouldn't the new lines be good? Well, we'll dive into it. But first, 2024 is here in full swing, and that means it's time for a New Year's resolution check-in with our friends at Manscaped. Newsflash, it's never too late to level up your grooming game and keep your bush tamed. Manscaped's new Lawnmower 5.0 is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Whether you're going for a trim or that clean-shaven look, this trimmer has you covered. Trusted by over 10 million men worldwide, now is your time to get a grip on your grooming with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use our code RINKRAT, that is RINKRAT, for 20% off and free shipping. The ball has dropped, but don't drop the ball on your balls. Jason, have you run this past week?
Yes, I've actually ran twice. So Monday's my rest day. Like when I'm talking about this past week, it's Wednesday today. Rested Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Both ran. Plan to run Thursday. Friday is a workout, not run. And then Saturday, Sunday also running. So I've been sticking to the schedule. It's been good.
That's huge. Who made your schedule? Just you, or?
I found a plan online. It's like a whole thing.
Nice.
It's like for training for a half marathon. So yeah, nice. It should be fun.
And why didn't you respond to my message where I asked, should we use every dollar we've made from this podcast on a Leafs away game?
Because you know my answer, and it's the incorrect thing to say.
You're gonna say no.
I would say yes, but that's also just the wrong thing you know what I mean? Like it's the wrong.
It's the wrong thing to do, but like, why not? I really want to do it.
We'll talk about it.
All right. I think it would be the best use of funds for entertainment purposes. But anyways, I forgot to say, we got to talk about Joseph Woll.
Yes.
Because there's a chance he could. I don't think he's been activated yet. Has he? Look that up.
But is he not with the team? Like he's with the team, but not active.
He's not starting for the Marlies anymore. I can tell you that for free, because the Marlies
still on LTIR.
Damn it. The Marlies play right now, and I believe he's not with the team. He made the start Friday. I think they just wanted to start him Friday, and they haven't posted the lines yet. But I don't think he's with the Marlies right now. I think they just wanted to give him that one start. And guess what? He looked really, really good. He looked like the Joseph Woll that we saw robbing the Ottawa Senators over and over and over and over again. His skating is incredible. His reads still looked very good. Looking through traffic, I think he missed on one, but still he made the recovery. Flexibility looks great. Everything looks so good. Can I take over the screen and show what I am talking about?
For sure.
All right. And
so I'm excited for him to be back, because like we talked about last week, there was a lot of what's it called? We talked about our save percentage and how it's changed over the games, the first couple of games of the season, first 40 games till the last 20-ish. And it's just you saw just the impact with him in. We already knew how good he was, how good his save percentage was, how poorly it was without him, right? And it's been better as of late, but he'll come in, help stabilize it, and he'll play above what we're currently getting right now, save percentage wise. Hopefully, like you would think that just based on how he's played so far.
And even then, like Ben Cernick, I was messaging with him today. He was on Instagram. He posted something like, ask me a question. He was gushing about Joseph Woll. And he said, like, the way that the team plays in front of you changes. Like, they're willing to take more offensive risks. They're willing to play a more free flowing style. They don't have to, they're not nervous and tense if they trust the goalie behind them. So that's also a key to put in there as well. And he's a huge Joseph Woll fan. As we had him on in the summer, he was just singing his praises. So that's always great to see. So Joseph Woll, am I on the screen right now? I can't see.
You're good.
Okay, perfect. Joseph Woll's start against Laval Rocket. I'm going to throw out the summary stats to start before we even get to a puck movement here. The Marlies gave up 37 shots in this one. He hadn't started a game since December 7th. The Marlies gave up 37 shots. He made 36 saves. On top of that, these weren't just like shots from the outside, low danger shots. Laval had 9 power plays. They had a 5-on-3 for, it seemed like, the entire second period. This was an extremely difficult game. And what's funny is, he's coming back off of injury. You want to kind of ease him in. He didn't get eased in. You know who got eased in? Hildeby the next day had like 19 shots on goal. So kind of funny there. But I'm going to play this first save right here. This was his first shot since December 7th. Take a look at this. Welcome back to the league. Joseph Woll, nice little rush opportunity, makes the save. He's square. Okay. This was another beauty right here. Never mind. Just shows he was tight to the post. This one, he lost it. I want to skip this one because it wasn't the greatest play. But this play right here, this is the goal that they scored against him. But I actually love this play from him. And it just shows how shit the Marlies defense, or bad. Sorry, I'm trying to lean off the swearing. The Marlies D was in front of him. Watch, puck goes down low, puck goes cross crease. He makes the save, and then they just jam it in. Like, it's an awesome save by him. And watch the decision-making in the reads here. Puck goes down low. Puck is in that golden triangle that I've talked about. Okay, it's an appropriate time to go into the RVH. Look at the head. Look at the scan by him as well. Oh, I know I've got a guy backdoor. I know that this guy might actually try to jam it as well. I'm going to go RVH. I'm going to cover that short side. I'm going to cover the upper part of the net as well. He's coming out. So Joseph Woll's got that short side sealed. Nice and easy. Pass goes backdoor. Look at the flexibility. Post to post. Everyone thinks it's in. Nope. Stopped. And then they jam it in afterwards. Unfortunate. That's the worst feeling ever when you make a huge save and then just the rebound. Oh, they scored on it. Oh, okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Anyways, just save after save after save. His reads look post to post, nice and easy. Watch it. Like, this is perfect. This is not something you're going to see from the Leafs' 2 current goaltenders. Not to say I have some positive things to say about Samsonov this episode, but you're not going to see this from him. Goes into the RVH. Okay, I'm stealing the short side. I'm sealing the passing lane because I know that they've got a guy in front of the net here. Okay, that's sealed off. Awesome. Oh, you're gonna go on for the wraparound right there. It goes in tight. Okay, got him there too. Look where the stick position is by him as well. If he tries to send this in front as a pass, that's perfect stick position. Seals that. Perfect. Again, just perfect. Look at this. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit here. This is all on Twitter, by the way. This was a beautiful save. One-timer opportunity, nice and square. Not even nice and square, gets to his spot, is able to stop and get his feet set on that one, diffuses the situation. The 5, as you can see here, if you're watching on YouTube, which you should, 3:12 left in the power play. They did not give this guy a break whatsoever in this one. There was a few other great saves here on the 5-on-3. I'm going to let it run because these are, I don't even think you need an analysis here. Okay. Nice pass across. I'm going to stop that one. Okay, I know where everyone is on the ice. Nice and easy save, no rebound. Shot through traffic, stopped, no problem. Read through traffic again. Doesn't matter where that puck is going. He's going to make that save. Like, just the Marlies D couldn't do anything in front of him, but he had it all covered. He looked well above the competition. 9 power plays against, including a 5-on-3, and they scored 1 on the power play. Laval scored 1 on the power play, and it was that chance that I just showed you. He was incredibly good in this one. He looked well above everyone in this one. I loved his scanning in this one. He just knew where the puck was going to be. He was covering, but he wasn't cheating at the same time. His movement looked great. I was floored with Joseph Woll. How do I stop sharing here?
You're good. You're stop sharing now. Don't worry. So yeah.
In summation, he looks fantastic. I compared clips of that game to clips against Ottawa. It's the same guy. It's the same guy. He looks, there's probably a slight difference, but I'm not noticing it. So that's my takes on Joseph Woll. He's back. He's back, and I want him in the net ASAP.
If they listen, I agree with you. If they want to take their time with him, fine, that's fair. Let's get him back 100%. But like the sooner the better for him, because I'm excited. Just as you, like I'm excited to get him back. He is the starter, and he'll be the game one starter, as we've been saying all season. That we kind of predicted a preseason and said like, hey, he's the guy. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have him back when he is healthy and when he's
exactly ready. Like the thing is, like Samsonov hasn't been bad at all. Samsonov hasn't been bad in my opinion. That was a well-timed burp right there. Nice. I set it all up and I was and then I burped. Nice. Anyways, he's been okay. He's just been okay. He's been better than the other goaltender that the Leafs have been playing against when the other goaltender just hasn't been that good. Like he was pretty good against Colorado, made some good saves there, pretty good against Philadelphia. What are some other games they have here? Like the Blues, did he start against that one? No, yeah, it was 15 saves. Schkeef, whatever. Against the Yotes, I think that was Martin Jones. He was okay there. Mm-hmm. The Knights, I believe that was Samsonov. Again, it was a 7-3 game. Who cares? The Avalanche, pretty good game there, I would say. Like, him and Jones have been okay. Mm-hmm. Well, Jones gave up a pretty weak one against the Yotes, but they're okay. That's it. Which means if your goaltending is just going to be okay, in the playoffs, you're going to have to blow the other team out of the water. Like, look at the goalies they might be facing. Right now, it could be Boston or Florida. Right now is how it's kind of projecting out to be. Detroit keeps winning. If Detroit keeps winning games at this pace, I mean, what if the Leafs run into the Rangers? Okay, so what are our options here? Swayman, Allmark, Bobrovsky, or Shesterkin. You're not winning the goaltending battle. You're not coming close if you have Samsonov or Jones. I'm not saying Joseph Woll is going to outplay those guys, but it'll be a little closer, I think. So,
yeah, no, I agree with that. That's
greener pastures are just over the hill. If that's an actual saying.
No, that is a saying. I think it sounds like a saying. If it's not a saying, then you did a good job.
Hey, look at that
off the cuff.
Anyways.
No, yeah, excited for Joseph Woll to come back. Do you send down Martin Jones if
I think you try to keep 3 at all costs because an injury would be devastating. They're terrified to play Hildeby, so I think they're going to try to keep Martin Jones at all costs.
Okay,
right?
I don't know if I believe the number works, but
you wouldn't play the Rangers. Never mind.
If it works,
actually, you might play the Rangers. Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, it works. There's cap space. Never mind. Exactly. Scratch that.
So
you're gonna have to send down like one of Pontus Holmberg, probably Pontus Holmberg. You have to, or sorry, one of the defensemen.
Oh no,
you have to send down like Legason or LeJoy.
Did they call up LeJoy?
He's like on their roster technically right now. Like,
would that be enough?
Friendly. Yeah, that would be enough. It's not number wise. They're at 23 like roster players right now without Woll. So if Woll comes in, someone has to be sent down.
Yeah,
but you have 2. I would argue you have 2 disposable defensemen that you can send down. So
in Lajoie or Lagerson.
Yes.
Lagerson. Yeah, so there's those two that you could send down. I wonder what's going on with Timothy Liljegren. He did not play against the Vegas Golden Knights. He was a game time decision, which is huge because he's apparently just the only defenseman that's right-handed. And now you're even in a bigger hole because TJ Brody can't play the right side. So last night against the Knights, the Leafs literally just saw, I know we're all over the place on this episode, but we literally just saw Sheldon Keefe like point to guys, hey, can you play the right side? I don't care if you say yes or no, get out there on the right side. Like that was Benoit was playing the right side. They decided Morgan Rielly to start playing the right side. You play the right, Lagerson play the right side, everyone right side. And I don't have the numbers on it, but it felt like a lot of turnovers were occurring on the right side of the ice.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it's not ideal when you have guys playing, every single guy on your team is left-handed. So I was also thinking about it as well. It's harder I feel like it's slightly harder to defend zone entries because if you're on that side, like if you're on your offside, like defending, like, you know what I mean? With how you would hold your stick, it'd be like one hand versus two hands. So it's like feels like it's a little bit harder and your positioning of your body is going to be like a lot different. There's a lot of factors that goes into playing your offside that would just mess with you if you're just plucked out and just be like, hey, you have to do it tonight. It's like, oh, okay, well, mentally it's tough.
Think about it like the motion that you have to do and like what you're doing with your feet essentially to like cut off the player and to angle them on the zone entry there. It's different. You're just switching feet. But if you're used to one way your entire career and you have to switch to the other, you know, if you're Morgan Rielly, your feet aren't that nimble, we'll say, to begin with, you know, it's going to be a lot more difficult. So that is a very good point there.
So before we we recorded our last episode before the first Vegas game, excuse me. How do you feel the first game compared to the second game?
How do I feel about a 7-3 win versus a 6-2 loss? I don't know.
That's a dumb question. My bad.
I don't know. How do I feel? I felt pretty good the first one. Like it was just over before it even began. What was it, 4-0 before it even began? It was funny because both of those games, the Leafs came out of the gate so hot where it was like, okay, game's over. Like we can go to bed early. Did I? No, obviously not. But then, like, what's it called? Both those, but they let both of the teams back into it. The Yotes game, it was 3-2 for the Leafs. They were up 3-0, became 3-2, and then Nick Schmaltz hit the crossbar. Imagine he scores that. It's a tie game on the road. You know, it's mainly Leafs fans, so who still technically it's just a home away from home kind of thing. But
fair.
Yeah, like. How did I feel? Well, one game they won 7-3, the other they lost 6-2. Like a lot better, obviously, the first one.
Yeah. I'm like, with the context of like the left-hand D situation, one power play. Like
that too.
Feel like I'm okay with the second one, but obviously I like the play in the first one a lot more. I guess that's like kind of how
they started okay.
That's part of the reason. Do
you want to get into the games?
Let's get into them. Yeah.
Last night, like they started okay. The start was not that bad, right? Like even Sheldon Keefe said it. They started okay. They got a couple good chances here and there, but then he said, these are his words, they tried to do too much, and then that's where they got into trouble. On top of that, what you mentioned with the power plays, like the Leafs power play that they got seemed like it had some momentum. I thought it kind of looked like they were trying to attack right off the entry, and we saw that from a couple passes from Nylander to Matthews right away. But I would have loved another power play to see if that was the case, but I can't, my theory can't be proven. But then it just kind of spiraled, and they, again, like I think you said off air or on air, I can't remember which one, they gave up the big event plays and it was game over. Like that breakaway from Barbashev is just, that's in a tight game like that where Vegas played really well defensively. That's a killer.
Well, if you look at the first three goals, I didn't say that on air, but yeah, that's what I was Like, that's why I'm like okay with the game. It's like, okay, like overall, I thought they played well, but they got like every big event negative they gave up was this. They like Vegas scored. Obviously, you can't be doing that stuff, but it's not like if that starts to become a habit, then I'll be like a little bit more pissed. But I think that was more so just a victim of the situation that they were put in there. So like the first goal, obviously, like you mentioned, the breakaway, like Riley loses his man, you can't do that. Listen, that's just that stuff happens. The second one, I think, second goal, Max Domi just like not like just
was
not
that
manning
the
up to his
Casper the
guy.
Ghost?
Yeah, but like listen, that's on both Morgan Riley and Max Domi need to communicate and say like either Max Domi didn't know that Riley was on that guy or something went wrong there. You got to know and be aware that there's someone in front of the net. There's got to be communication there.
That's just Max Domi
ice.
not knowing where to be.
Yeah,
so the thing is, what happened on that play was the player came around the net and Brody was with him. And Brody followed that player all the way up to the point. Mm-hmm. From that point there, Morgan Riley had his guy in front and Mason Morelli, it was, snuck up from behind the net to the front. Max Domi didn't scan one bit. He was blinders on staring at the puck and he just got caught. Like when you look at the picture here, I took a screenshot and I posted on Twitter and Max Domi is literally like, he's a good distance away from the guy that Riley has. And he's just standing in his own world. That's just a result of not scanning. Mm-hmm. Right. So,
yeah. Neither like, just someone on the ice has to be able to pick that up and be looking out for that. But yeah, again, so like there's another one. And then the third one, like you had I don't know if it was a dump in or a carry in. I think it was a dump in. And John Tavares, he had two outlet passes. Both TJ Brody and Morgan Riley didn't make that pass, ended up losing the puck there. Morgan Riley on the ice, I think he didn't realize, like he forgot to switch sides back to with TJ Brody because TJ Brody looked like he was playing the left side there, being net front. And Morgan Riley was still like on the other side of the ice. I don't know if he was waiting for a pass.
No, Riley was playing right side last night, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So like he was on the left side.
Okay.
Like he was to the left of TJ Brody in our zone. The puck was on the right side of the wall, the right side of the zone, and he was on the other side of the ice. I don't know if he was expecting a rim from John Tavares. That might have been what it was, but he was like kind of like circling, and it's like I don't know if he was just getting carried away, thinking that hey, maybe I want to get this puck so I can go up ice, or I'm like just again not used to again.
Regardless, though, Tavares had enough options. Like he just made a weak backhand play.
Absolutely. So like again, those big negatives happen, and it's all of a sudden it's 3-0. It's like, well, you guys look great, but then one, 2, 3 mistakes compound into a 3-0 game, and you're basically toast there. So yeah, like that's why I'm like again. Not too mad about the game, but again, if those start to become habits, then I got issues.
Yeah. Like Riley -4, Brody, what was he? -4? Yeah. Nylander -4. Domi only -2. That's surprising, but whatever. Like, I don't know. Vegas played a tight defensive game. You got to give them a lot of credit. Mm-hmm. Somehow only ended up with one power play, so that's also kind of a backbreaker there. But you didn't get much offense from Matthews Marner at 5-on-5. It felt like it was, I don't know. It was just like an ugly. It was an ugly game. It was who was going to make the first mistake kind of thing, and the Leafs made more mistakes. And
exactly.
What can you attribute it to? Well, 6 left-handed defensemen. And one line that, probably could have been better on defense. Like when you look at that fourth goal, like that's Domi tried to chip Pietrangelo. I felt like he could have got back a little faster. And then Nylander trying to get ahead of himself and get an easy exit, but then gets stripped at the blue line. And then the puck goes back the other way and off a rebound. It's in the back of the net for 4-1 game right there. Okay. Like, that's also kind of a backbreaker there. Was it a high stick? Apparently not. I don't know. So
yeah. Anyways, what were your thoughts on the Avs game? I feel like that kind of got lost in the shuffle because like it was on Saturday.
Up and down. It was an
days removed.
Mm-hmm. Bertuzzi played awesome in that one. Shout out to him. Hat trick, post, few good defensive plays, few good blocks. Really liked how he played. But in that one could have got away from them quickly. They got that power play goal. They got back into it. That was extremely fortunate. I think Samsonov played pretty well in that one, and that also was a big deciding factor. But like, I don't know, it was an up and down game. It was very, very up and down, we'll say. And I guess that's what happens when the Avs depth, I'm not a huge fan of it. So that's what happens when, you're playing the Avalanche. Like, you have your one line's McKinnon, Makar, Rantanen, and then the other lines, it's like not McKinnon, Makar, Rantanen, we'll say.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's a good way to put it.
And you had some good bounces in that one. Like, when you think about the bounces, like, there was one play where the Avs, I think it was the guy they got from Tampa Bay. I can't remember Ross Colton had his arms up in the air, thought he scored. Nope. That bounce didn't go in. One play where they had a good chance one way, back the other way. It was underneath Samsonov. It was very, very close to the line. That one didn't go in. There was another Parise play, like very, very, very close. The McKinnon got a chance with 1 second left in the game, started from his own end down to the other one. That one didn't go in. You got fortunate with the bounces, but it wasn't a great 60-minute effort, but up and down and up and down and up and down, and you were able to weather the storm. And that's hockey. Sometimes the bounces go your way, sometimes they don't. That night, they definitely went the Leafs' way. Right?
Yep. No, that's fair. What did you think about the power play, the new sort of new look power play with Tyler Bertuzzi on not really new? I guess we'll talk about this in the next little segment, but I was just thinking because, like, again, he scored on the power play there, right? So do you feel like it worked? Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll say
about
that
it with the lines, but I think this is a good starter point for sure.
Yeah.
To me, Tavares going down to line 3 and Tavares being taken off the first power play shows that he's injured. This is not the captain going, "Oh, I gotta take a step back here. I'm not as good," or whatever. Right? To me, he's injured. He's got a rib. Like, the game after he stays out, he's out because of an injury. That's when they decide to shift up the power play. He plays the net front. What's going on in the net front of the power play?
Yeah, a lot
of smash. Where's he injured? Right on his rib. I feel like Tyler, but I do. If I'm just speculating on my part there. However, I do really like getting Tyler Bertuzzi more involved in the offense. Like, when you look at it, like, you brought in these new guys, you're playing Domi 10-50 a night or whatever. You're playing Bertuzzi second line, but then again, no power play at all, which he's always been a first power play guy in his career. He's very capable in the net front too. So I like, even if this is temporary, I do like getting a new guy involved in the offense. And you know what? It paid off, right? So it was good to see. And it's great to have that insurance option there in Tyler Bertuzzi. So
yeah. I guess we'll just get into the new lines here then, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Tavares looked terrible last night.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but before we talk about the new lines, I'm going to talk to you about some other lines that you might be familiar with. I'm talking about DraftKings lines.
Not those kind of lines.
Okay.
DraftKings betting lines.
DraftKings betting lines. We know hockey moves fast, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can get $5 and get bet $5 and get instantly 200 bonus bets, $200 in bonus bets. Oh my gosh, fumbling my words a lot here. So that's just $5, bet $5, you get 200 instantly in bonus bets. And I mean, again, we're doing a little update here on the odds for Austin Matthews to win the Hart Trophy, because it feels like all season
he hasn't scored in 2 games.
Disrespected. Done. I know, it's crazy. Let's see how that affected his hard odds, and it's actually he's now first in the Hart betting odds. A week ago he was 4th. 2 weeks before that, he was 4th by a mile. I think 12-1 he was, something like that. And now he's plus 195. So seems like the tides have turned on the sentiment around the Austin Matthews for the Hart conversation. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code THPN. New customers can bet just $5 on the NHL and get 200 instantly in bonus bets Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE New York or text HOPE New York 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Blue Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Crazy. I didn't realize Austin Matthews was like plus 195 to win the Hart now. It's kind of crazy how that turned. But anyways, here we are.
Crazy things. Who's leading? Is it Kucherov?
Matthews is. He's the leader.
Shit.
They're all like around plus 195, plus 200,
okay.
plus 210. Like they're all very close, but I mean, Matthews is the odds-on favorite right now.
Exactly. So let's get into the lines. I have in front of me the expected goals for from the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. And guess what? The Leafs went 6-1 in those games. Yeah, I guess 6-1 in those games. 1, 2, 5 of them, though, they were under 50% expected goals for at 5-on-5, believe it or not. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
3, 4, 4 of them, they were below 50% scoring chances for percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, in 3 of them, they were in the 30s for scoring chances for percentage. But what's funny about this, guess which game that they were below 50%? There was one game it's very, very funny that they were below 50% for in both those categories.
Was it Arizona? No.
Well, it was actually. They were below 40% in that game.
Oh.
An even funnier one.
Anaheim
Ducks.
Anaheim. Okay.
They won that game 9-2.
That might be a score effects thing, though. No, like might just be like they ran up the scoreboard.
The Leafs slapped them in the third, though.
Yeah,
the Leafs never really gave up. It wasn't like it was 9-0 in the first. It was 3 or 4-0 in the first, couple goals in the second, couple goals in the third. Like they just continually, and yet the chances for, chances against don't show that because, well, that's a small sample size expected goals thing. I do want to mention, though, the Coyotes game. They were below 40% expected goals for and scoring chances for at 5-on-5. Why is that? That doesn't include 4-on-4. There was a good amount of 4-on-4 hockey in that game, right? When you look at power play, just 5-on-4 power play, 1 goal for the Coyotes, 1 goal for the Leafs. What made the difference there? Well, there was a 5-on-3 in there as well, right? You can't just look at the 5-on-5 scoring chances for, scoring chances against. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper. Some games are a little bit weird. That Coyotes game in particular was pretty weird because the Leafs they have their top guys are very, very, very good at 4-on-4, especially like
Max
Nylander and Matthews are incredible at 4-on-4. I think it was Nylander scored at 4-on-4 in that one. So, and on top of that score effect, as you mentioned, Coyotes made it a 1-goal game. So I don't know how much score effect you can put into there. But I will say Karel Vejmelka had a bit of a tough game in that one. Well,
he looked very frustrated. He's like, what am I supposed to do? So what are your thoughts on the new lines then? Like do you feel like it works, doesn't work, optimal, suboptimal? Where's the issue? Where's the right? Like
here's where I'm at right now. I think Tyler Bertuzzi looks better when he has 2 faster players with him.
Okay.
Right? So that's where Tavares Nylander was pretty good. I think it's more optimal when he has 2 faster players though.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1. 2, I think Tavares is looking really hurt right now. So you don't really have that third line center option. I last night he looked like a bag of bones.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mike Johnson even said, at what point do you like kind of sit him to get his health back to 100%? Because that's what that's how it looked last night. So when you also look at it, Tavares, Robertson, and McMahon, that line there, they're below 50% expected goals for, but their goals for is like 5-1 when they're on the ice together at 5-on-5. That is.
Okay.
Their PDO though is at 109.
Okay.
That's coming down. You just know that's coming down for sure.
For sure.
Nylander, Domi, Bertuzzi right now, they're, I want to say 40% expected goals for, but then, okay, they generate some very good chances because they're very fast. It's a lot of rush chances. But then when you look at it, like their save percentage on 5-on-5 on ice save percentage is like 850. And why is that? Well, you got two guys that are not very good defensively. And even Bertuzzi has his warts defensively. He's not very good at skating the puck out. Yeah. That's a big part of it too, even though it does block a ton of shots, which is nice to see. I don't feel like they're quite optimal yet. I feel like a couple adjustments. I like having those three options though, where it's like, okay, you have Matthews, Marner, you have Nylander on one line, Nylander's with Bertuzzi too, so that should work. And then you have Tavares on a third line. He's trying to elevate a couple guys that, are utility guys, we'll say. But I don't feel like it's quite there. I feel like the wins have masked that. And that's from like power play's been good recently. Like you've run into some pretty shitty goaltending and teams that are not playing that well. I feel like adjustments need to be made. And I will say this, I feel like you need to take Pontus Holmberg off the fourth line. I think he's got a well-rounded game and it's complete enough for you to help one of those lines.
The only thing is like who gets bumped down, number one. Number two, like if anything, I think you're right with the going back a little bit earlier with the John Tavares stuff, just sit. Because like he's been like hasn't been good the last, if we're gonna be honest, like 5-on-5 life, he hasn't been good the last 2 years. And that's like,
oh no.
And it's not like a small sample thing. We have like almost like over 100 games of him just not like literally being like a third line or worse quality player, especially like analytically. Like, and if he's not playing on the power play, that's like the only thing that's the only way he was somewhat carrying his weight. So I think like if he's hurt, just sit. Like it does nothing. Like honestly, like if I'm being honest right now, the way he's playing, it's hurting us more with him playing than him just sitting. And maybe that's a bad take, but
no, I agree.
I don't think it works. Also, again, like you said, it'll give opportunity for other guys to like step up and see if maybe they can play there, because end game wise, like I don't think John Tavares in the playoffs is going to work at center. Like I don't know if that's going to work. So,
wow.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get over, and that's like that's more of a luxury thing where if we feel like we have enough comfortable centering, we don't now, but who knows? Trade deadline's in a week and a half, and like who knows who we'll get. So, yeah, like fit wise though, I think the Domi line fits. Like they're terrible defensively, but the alternative is also still terrible defensively. Like whatever line Nylander has been on and played with, they haven't been good defensively, and that's just been true.
I think it's amplified with Domi. I really don't like Domi defensively.
It might be amplified then, but I still think they have offensive upside, and they're like kind of an annoying line to defend against. So like brain and eye test wise, I think it's a fit. And again, I know I said John Tavares should sit, but I really like Robertson's play so far. McMahon maybe not like a lock in for that line, but I've liked Robertson's play the last 20 games. So I'm just happy to see him get more opportunity there. So I'm in for more tinkering, but I don't think I'm okay with keeping that second line the same.
Yeah,
and tinkering with the third line.
To your John Tavares point, the last 4 seasons, points 5-on-5 points per 60. 2021, 2.22. 21-22, he was at 2.1. Last season, he was at 2.09, so just a very small drop. Yeah, only a very small drop. This year he's at 1.51. That's a pretty big drop right there, right? Like
it's just not there for him at 5-on-5 anymore. He's 33 now. Like it's with someone who's an effort-based skater and never had a good, like his skating was his worst attribute like his entire career. It's like that was going to happen. And like, again, contract aside, like whatever, like we knew this was going to happen, right? Like we knew when we signed him, the first 3.5 years were supposed to pay off the last 3.5 years. So that's just how it works. The age comes for all. So I'm okay with those lines, I guess. And we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, I think they need adjustments. I'm curious to see how they rebound against the Coyotes. You know what? If they're going to lose, I'd rather it be like this, where it's demoralizing, where the ref pisses all of you off, because it should, like this. I'm just thinking about it storyline wise. Like you'd think, okay, that now there's a reason to get up for the next game. You're a little bit pissed off. Your winning streak ended. It didn't end in the best fashion, right? Like you'd think you'd get a little pissed off for next game. But again, hockey's random. That is a narrative. That's not proven. And anything could happen, right? No game is connected to another one. Once one game ends, that's it. That's like a team does not carry that on. Like it can happen based off of adjustments, but we've seen teams get slapped 9-2 and then win the next game. We saw that with the Leafs. What game is that? I think they won after they got smoked, like 6-1 or 7-1 or something like that. We should remember this. I can't remember which game that was though. Anyways, yeah. So you like the lines. You're saying keep the lines. I'm saying I think some more adjustments could be made. I will say this. The fourth line looks great. How did Ryan Reeves at 5-on-5 last night? This is based off of my memory. He had more chances than Austin Matthews, did he not? He had one to start the game, and he scored off the rush.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know.
Ryan Reeves was fantastic. What the hell's going on here? Since he's come back from injury, he's been terrific.
And I think it's on. Is the Rangers game on Saturday too? He's gonna have a hell of a week.
Oh, yep. So his 3 goals this year have come against the Blackhawks, who didn't play for them, but the Jets. That's a former team. That's a hometown team, and now the Vegas Golden Knights. So something about Ryan Reeves and former teams. We'll see if he can keep that rolling. Yeah, he's been great. I feel like maybe it's just been like when you looked at a lot of I don't know what it is. I think that rest just helped to get his knees right or something. He looks like he's a little bit faster. He looks like he's getting onto pucks more and actually, he's able to keep pucks into the offensive zone. Like before that little break he had, we'll call it, I felt like he was slow to get to pucks. It gave the other team extra time with it, and they were able to move it out and move it into the Leafs zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now, whether that's system adjustments, whether that's him actually, the rest was good for him, whether that's adding Pontus Holmberg to that line, he's looked a lot better. And that cannot be overseen because this was called by a lot of people the worst contract ever. And he's looked pretty decently.
That was just bad hyperbole. I'm not even gonna get into that. Anyways.
Well, I don't know. -12 in 14 games playing 805 a game or whatever it was kind of makes you the worst player in the NHL, right? But I will say next year that 1.3 is the variable amount. So whether we'll see what happens. Anyways, just wanted to shout out Ryan Reeves there because he's been awesome. So has Pontus Holmberg, and David Kamp's been much better as a result too. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just to close out here.
Yeah.
The Benoit debate, because friend of the show, Kevin Papetti, made waves a bit on Twitter this past week where he said, and I quote, I'm going to quote the tweet word for word. I don't think the Leafs want to move him whatsoever, but Simon Benoit is only 25 and probably has some trade value. I've liked the Benoit McCabe pair, but I think you have to be open, to him, to moving him if he helps you get a true top 4 right D. What are your thoughts on that? Do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
You start.
So first of all, I disagree with that, because the whole goal, just based on what he said, the whole goal here is for the Leafs to get a top 4 right D, right? You're looking for a top 4 defenseman who plays the right side, right? But if you move Benoit, who then plays the left side in your top 4? Because guess what? Newsflash, he's been a top 4 left-hand D for us this year. He's put up the minutes. He's actually done very well analytically. I believe he's in the 80th percentile. If you compare him to Chris Tanev, and I don't know if that's who Kevin's talking about here when he says top 4 right D, if you trade him basically for Chris Tanev, that is essentially a lateral move, and I don't think that helps the team out at all. On top of that, if we're going to think about continuity with pairs, you have 2 of the 3 pairs already locked in place, in my opinion. Benoit, McCabe, Brody, Liljegren. What you're looking for is for someone to fill in that Morgan Riley spot beside Morgan Riley. That's what I think, right? Benoit, that top 4 right D, Benoit is what you're looking for. He doesn't play the right side, but that is basically what you've been looking for this whole time. You want someone who's big, you want someone who's physical, and guess what? He can contribute. He might be a black hole on offense, but again, who cares? I do not care about that. I do not care about that one bit. And then finally, this is the most important part.
He had 3 good offensive looks last night, which is funny. When you look at the best offensive looks, it was Lagesson from Mitch Marner, and then I think there were 2 or 3 Simone Benoit looks. I think it was funny. He took a shot and he didn't score, and he went, oh. But it's like, buddy, you have 1 goal over the last 2 years. Where did you expect that puck to go? Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're right. And listen, this is the thing with Benoit. I think people are still stuck in their head with the analytic looks of how he looked last year and the year before with Anaheim. But guess what? Why can it not be that his first season in the end, basically his first full season in the NHL, was with a bad team, and maybe he just didn't put up numbers here? Something about Benoit as well that literally no one is willing to talk about here is that he's only 25 years old. Think about how patient we've been with Timothy Liljegren, who we've seen essentially have not listening. He definitely has more offensive upside than Benoit, but we knew early on in his development he didn't have a lot of offensive upside. He's a more of a defensive defenseman who can kind of play in transition, but he's not that big. He's not that physical. Doesn't have that physical upside that Benoit has. He's only 6 months. Benoit's only 6 months older than Liljegren. It's not like these guys are years apart. And if we're going to think about development wise, why is it so odd for Benoit to suddenly be good at 25 years old when majority of defensemen grow and mature at that age into becoming not NHL stars, but that's kind of the trend we see with defensemen. They take a little bit longer compared to forwards to develop. And 25 is that peak age of when they truly come into their own here. So that on top of all this, he's an RFA. That's you have your decor essentially locked up for 4 players on your decor essentially locked up for next year with him in the mix here, and he's proven to work. So long-winded answer, but I am anti this take. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever to move Benoit at all.
Okay, but if that helps you to not give up a first-round pick,
I don't care. Give up the first-round pick
over Simone Benoit.
What are we talking? Hold on, what are we talking about here? Benoit wouldn't be worth a first-round pick. That's
no, he's not.
You'd have to give more alongside Benoit with the first-round pick.
You'd have to give up a little bit.
So you'd probably have to give Benoit plus the equivalent, plus whatever the equivalent makeup would be of a first-round pick. I think I'd rather part ways with a potential prospect that might come into our system and look good 4 years down the road than part ways with Benoit right now, because I'm just thinking about in the sense of the first round pick. I'm not saying they're equal. I'm not saying Benoit is worth the first round pick, but I just mean the asset of the first round pick. The returns you'll see on that is long away compared to what you're going to get with Benoit now. And Benoit could be legit a good player. We've seen a good sample of him being good defensively. What if he's actually just good? What if he can contribute as a top 4 defenseman who's really good defensively? What if his numbers are essentially as good as Chris Tanev's this year? What if he's just a light version of Chris Tanev for the next 5 years? Wouldn't you want that on your team? Would you be willing to give that up so easily?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So I'm sorry, I cut you off there. I'll let you state your point.
So the more that I looked at first, I was like, yes, 100%. Like, I don't care as long as it gets you a top 4 right D. But then I looked at what the lines would be if you were to move Benoit and you bring in Chris Tanev, we'll say. So I think the reason you need a right-handed defenseman, because if you're able to move Jake McCabe back to his strong side, I think that's a bonus. It's a huge bonus there. Sure. So you have, so now you don't have Benoit. So you take away, so you don't have Benoit McCabe pairing. Now you have McCabe and Tanev, whatever. Okay. You've already kind of realized you can't do Riley Brody, though. So then you have to move Brody to the left side. So now your 3 left-handed defensemen have suddenly become Riley, McCabe, and Brody, right? Mm-hmm. Your right-handed defensemen are Liljegren and what's his name? Tanev. Just for the sake of the argument.
Insert right hand, top 4 right
Tanev, Walker, any of Rasmus Ristolainen for all I give a shit. Erica Branson, whoever else you want to throw in there. Now you still have that hole, though. Like, I basically what I'm trying to say is your lineup of what you had before, where it was Benoit McCabe and fill in the blanks, Riley Liljegren or whatever, or Brody Liljegren like you had before, and then Riley whoever, versus when you go McCabe, Tanev, Brody Liljegren, Riley X, I feel like it's not like there isn't enough margin between those D-cores to warrant you getting rid of Simon Benoit, who then is under team control for next year as well. And then you can explore, hey, how good does he look next year? And plus, on top of that, the cap efficiencies that you're going to get from that next year are huge, which next year you need to be all about cap efficiencies. Yeah. So that's why you're more likely to move picks than prospects at this trade deadline, in my opinion, right? So with that being said, in the situation that the Leafs are in, it becomes, I think the margin between who you're getting rid of, between Benoit and who you're bringing in, it needs to be quite sizable, because you have to take into effect not just this season, next season as well, and the cap for next season too. Like if you re-sign Chris Tanev, which is from around this area, former Bowmanville Eagle, I believe it was, and Markham Waxer, like he's getting paid 4.5 now. He's probably going to want like 3.5 for 2 years, maybe get him down to 3. Benoit's making league minimum right now. He's not going for more than 1.5, one. We'll say he has 4 points right now.
What's his ARB case?
1 by 2.
Yeah, what's his ARB case even going to look like? He's an arbitration eligible. Like what's he going to get in ARB? Like this is going to be his second full season. Like so he's not going to get a lot, but he looks good. Like the not warning signs, the signs are there that he could be a legitimate contributor for her.
And on top of that, the physicality that he brings that Tanev doesn't bring, that's something else to consider, especially
absolutely laid someone out last game.
That's because it's Barb. So the one thing, the past 2 games that they played, the Knights, Barbashev has gotten hit and he jumps. So then it just makes it look even big. Like Lagesson they didn't show a replay, laid him out. He's like a foot up. The amount of air that he got on the Lagesson hit makes no sense. And then when you watch the Benoit, he jumps and he spins as well. I've never seen a hockey player do that. And I can't remember if when I was watching him last year, I noticed that too, where I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, why are you jumping and spinning like that? You're going to get hurt. Anyways. But yeah, the Benoit hits tape was not bad. I put that together. That's on Twitter as well. It's funny because right after I put that out, he had the Coyotes game, which was his worst game of the season by 10 miles. But like, look at last night. The Leafs got shelled last night. I don't know what his time on ice was, but he had the best results. Him and McCabe had the best results out of any Leafs player.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And
21-31. Not bad.
Yeah. And you mentioned this. Obviously, it's nice. Like, and we mentioned, listen, we just talked about 6 left-handed D. That's not ideal, but like continuity wise, the pairing of Benoit and McCabe works. Period. Like, period. It's been working.
Yeah.
I feel like, right. And McCabe, I understand he's been on his off wing, and that's not been the best. But like, it's not like he's making it work. The pair is making it work, and that's the most important thing. I think that is the most important thing. So
my other argument was, can you bring Benoit McCabe into the playoffs, knowing what happened to McCabe last year in the playoffs under a heavy forecheck?
But the problem is with that, was he not playing on his left hand side anyway? So is that going to even matter then? So if you switch him over to the left side, and let's say hypothetically you do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to help with McCabe breaking the puck out? Like, maybe no, right? I guess that's kind of a different question. Pardon?
Yeah, that is an entire possibility. I think that having Brody playing, he was definitely playing injured in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. So,
but now he's playing his off wing. Like in the playoffs, it amplifies the defenseman's ability to move the puck, is what I'm saying. And is he good enough to be playing his off wing in the playoffs? I haven't noticed any issues yet, but it's a question.
Truth is, we're not going to be able to tell, but also at the same time, the quality of competition is definitely lighter this field than compared to last year's field. If we're just going to be like, other than Florida, maybe Florida is about the same. The other forwards that we could have potentially played, the quality of competition is lesser, I would say. So, yeah, I feel like that's a good little bow on the Benoit stuff. I would keep him. He could be Gustav Forsling. Who knows? Guy was put on waivers before he went to Florida, right?
That's true.
Like 25. Remember, he's only 20. He's only 25 years old. He literally just turned 25 in September. He's younger than me, which makes me feel really fucking old. But yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, to summarize my point, I didn't see enough improvement with him being out of that lineup, especially for next season as well. I thought I would have, but when I did what I wanted. Okay, McCabe back to the left side, Tanev on the right. There were still a lot of holes where I'm like, is this worth it? I will ask, a lot of on the panel last night, they kept bringing up Ilya Lyubushkin's name.
No, miss me with that. Like, honestly, maybe. Like, I wouldn't give like a lot for him though. Period. So
I wouldn't give like a fifth.
Yeah, that I wouldn't give like third is too much for me. Fifth, maybe.
He's not that good. Like,
he doesn't. Yeah, like he's over the hill maybe. So
over the hill. I think he's born in like 1996. He's definitely not over 30.
He's 29, 30. But like he looked better. Like that's when you start to, Anyways,
I don't know. I'd be disappointed if your move is Lyubushkin at the deadline. I'll tell you that for free.
The right-hand D market is very slim, so we'll talk about that next episode.
Is slim outside of like Jake Gensel, allegedly, which is he even going to get moved?
Who knows? We'll talk about that though next week. With trade deadlines like creeping up on us, and like it feels like no one's talked, like, because there's everyone's pretending like they're competing, but like none of those teams are going to be in it in that race. There's like 4 teams in the wild card in the West. Like
there's a lot less teams that are out. That's the thing. Like right now, the Flyers hold all the cards. Oh, will the Flyers move Walker? Will the Flyers move Lawton? Will the Flyers move Ristolainen? The Flyers have a 71% chance to make the playoffs right now.
That's nuts. Yeah.
71. And the Devils are slowly creeping back. So now people are asking, is Toffoli available? Is Matt Roy available? Because the Kings are kind of back on track, but we'll see. So I think that pretty much wraps up everything though for today. You have any other last comments to throw in there?
That's it for me. Gonna keep running that marathon pace, half marathon pace. Hopefully the Leafs can tag along with me and marathon their way to the top of the standings.
Ooh, love it. Great way to end it. Thanks everyone for listening.
Go Leafs, go.